friends, Jeff here, and welcome to my corner. Welcome to another installment of the B-17, the Dauntless Dries, the Crash B-17 diorama that I've been building for quite some time now. Now, I did take a long longer break than I anticipated. I got distracted with some armor stuff, and it's very hard when you like two things at the same time to make a choice. So, but I'm back. I'm back in the game. Did a lot more detailing, and I'm almost ready. As a matter of fact, I am ready to put some paint on the inside. Now, the inside is very important, as you well know by previous posts. It's going to be a Crash B-17 with the nose compartment, or at least the nose cone shot away, so you'll have a clear view of the frontal compartment and some parts of the cockpit. So I had to make sure that it was really detailed, because the frontal compartment and the cockpit is going to be the eye catcher of the whole model. And so I had to make sure that a lot of detail is incorporated by that. I maybe overdid it a little bit, not that I took reality or accuracy for granted. No, I basically added a lot of detail that I have to paint. I have to paint around that. And what I'm trying to say here is that normally when you super detail, you try to do it in sections. You know, you paint a couple things, then you build some more, and then you paint some more. In this case, I just added the detail and kept adding detail, and in my mind was like, okay, I'll deal with it later on. But indirectly, I think I screwed myself by adding so much detail out there, so much delicate detail in there, that it's going to be hard to paint. Now, I'm pretty confident that I probably will pull it off, but still, I really made it a lot more difficult for me than I should have. But that's it, it's done. There's nothing I can do about it. It's all there, and I'm not going to take it apart. Now, also the detail took me a long time because every time I thought I was done, I saw something else that I had to detail. So either this week, I was planning to start painting on Monday, but then I took one last glance in the information that I had, and I saw that I forgot to detail where the chin turret connects to basically to the floor. And I had to really scramble to make that happen, to detail that. I had to do some more research, but eventually I think it turned out okay. So I'm really very happy with the result. Again, like I said, I don't know how it's going to come out when I start painting it, but I'm very satisfied with what I did so far. So before we slap the paint on, I would like to share with you what I did, because it's been quite an undertaking. So before we cover that all up with paint, I would just go over it with you guys, just to show what I did so far and how I did it, and how it's going to look. So let's have a closer look what I did so far, and then we'll be back for some final words. So here we go. So the first thing we're going to look at is the frontal compartment. It's the bombardier compartment, the navigator compartment, and that's going to be the most visible. Because, as I mentioned a little bit before, the nose cone is going to be removed or shut off, and you're going to have a clear view of what's inside and all the detail that's accumulated there. So let me show you. I have to be really delicate in holding this, because everything is glued on there, but the minute that I touch something, it will snap off. So as you can tell here, I did a lot of detailing around the upper section where the back of the instrument is situated. I looked at several wartime pictures as much as I could find them, and it is indeed difficult to get like a clear view of what was all incorporated in there, because many B-17s on the field were modified. They were always converted to something, or even the crew did a lot of modifications that made everything a little bit easier for them. So I try to at least incorporate as much as I can and make it look realistic. I got a lot of cabling here. I got a lot of oxygen hoses and all that. So I think I got it about 75–80% correct. The rest I had to add some stuff on for drama in a way. As you will know, there is the airplane itself is damaged by flak and also by a frontal fighter attack. So I had to make sure that I got a little bit of damage here and there, and you will see that more when I show you the fuselage I have. But for this part, for the frontal compartment, I think I captured as much as I could without making it or without overdoing it. This is also what I mentioned a little earlier in the beginning of the video, that I got everything done and I thought I was finished with everything until I realized I forgot to include where the chin turret is hooked up to the floor, or at least where that all assembly is. So I had to scratch build that. It took me a little bit, but I think I got it to a point where it will do. Also, I got here the mounts here for the navigator or bombardier seat. So I just have to plop that in when it's done. Now, painting this, again, it's going to be hard to do, but the floors, most of the floors, as far as the cockpit or part of the cockpit and the whole frontal compartment, were made out of plywood. So I'm going to apply, I got some decals, I got some thin sheet of wood, and I'm really looking forward to do that actually, because I think that's going to look really awesome once you get the combination of all the other colors, like the interior green combined with the plywood. So so far so good. I'll post some pictures, some close-up shots at the end of the video. I'm a little shaky here because I'm afraid to touch anything that might snap off. So yeah, this is okay. This is already the frontal compartment, navigator, bombardier's compartment, and that's it's ready to paint. So let's see what the fuselage halves look like in this area. So here we have the right one. Now you will see here, and as with the frontal compartment, that there is a lot of insulation blankets on there. I've seen several pictures where this is added. In most of the B-17s, they left it out. But in some of them, they had these insulation blankets. Sometimes they were done the whole way. Sometimes there was only the top. And I tried to simulate that. I did this with epoxy putty. And what I did, epoxy putty is the same like milliput. And what I did is I just took a small amount and mixed it, rolled it flat, and then I made some indentations with a straight edge. Actually with and I made indentations with a scraper blade. We talked about this before, but that's how I simulated that. And then I just added it and tried to make it look organic. Another thing, since the B-17 is being damaged by flak from the bottom and also by a frontal attack, I had to simulate the damage a little bit everywhere. And again, I didn't want to overdo it because that's what most of us modelers make the mistake in even in a diorama. Sometimes we want to create so much detail that the whole concept gets lost. So you have to draw the fine line between reality and what the eye can capture. So I think I was balancing on the edge here, but I think I captured it well. So you can already see that also by the damage of the crash landing, a lot of the stuff came detached. So we'll see how it comes out painted, and once the fuselage is together, we'll see how it looks. But I think it's going to look real well. So that's what I did with those insulation blankets, and then the rest is all lead wire. A lot of oxygen hoses here, and the rest is all. You can also see some milliput wires that I made. I like to work with milliput as fast as I can, or in this case epoxy putty, because even cabling makes it a lot easier to manipulate. You can drape them really organically and they stay in place, and once they're dried you can even remove them and put them back into place without damaging anything. So that's what I've been doing. So let me show you the other side. The same thing. There is a little bit less detail here because this is where the table is located, the navigator's table. So I added some extra radios. I added some other oxygen hoses with the regulators, and again, of course, some of the insulation blankets. They were made the same way, and I got some wires poking out here. It's just for drama. But other than that, also you can see here there's a lot of detail already incorporated. So we had to damage the plane before we can do all the inside work. because else it would be almost impossible to do that and not damaging all the super detail you put on the inside. So that's what we did here. I studied a lot of pictures, and I think I didn't really overdo it. It's a little hair-raising, getting a $400 kit and then just start damaging the bottom, because once you poke a hole in there is not much you can do. As I said, the detail came out pretty good. I think it's going to look really convincing once you put the fuselage together, and you have all these detail in there that you can observe from the front. So let's put this away, and then let's talk a little bit about the cockpit. So here we have the cockpit with one of the sidewalls in place. I can take this off, but just for demo purposes I left it on. Same thing with the insulation blanket, made out of the same material. Then I got all the wires here made from lead wire, and of course a combination with milliput for the straps. And the rest is just scratch built. I also took care of the rudder pedals that I refined a little. If you use the kit parts, they're a little clunky. Now you're not going to see much, or I don't think you're going to see anything, but just for myself, that I know it's there, I updated those a little bit, so at least I got the satisfaction out of it. And then here we have the left sidewall, same thing, same scenario, combination with milliput wires or epoxy wires, the insulation blanket. And this is from the Edward kit, the Edward photo etch set that I have. So there's a lot more. Eventually, when everything is painted up, I am going to add a lot more of this. Then I also remastered the whole seats here. I scratch built those. There is a good book out there, and I think I already showed that in one of the previous chapters. There is like a warbird tech, where there is like a drawing that you can see where all the pieces go. So I had to adapt it a little bit here and there to make it fit to the cockpit parts, but I think it came out real well, and that's going to be quite visible. I also made these out of milliput, and I also have the backrest. So and of course I had to do two of them, one for the pilot, one for the co-pilot. And I think once they're installed and once they're in place and painted up, they're going to look awesome. I also have to do, of course, the safety harness here. I also going to use the Yahoo instrument panel, and that's going to look very awesome once it's installed, like here. And then this is a combination of the kit parts, some scratch built and photo etch from the Edward set. So once that's installed and it's been toned down a little bit, some oils, it's going to look quite the part. So that's what I did so far. I'm quite happy with the outcome. Quite happy with how it's going to look. Again, it's going to be quite an undertaking to paint this, but I'm going to take my time for it. So last but not least, I almost forgot, this is the bulkhead behind the cockpit. So when you look through the windscreen, you can see this over the pilot seats. You can see this bulkhead. So for dramatic purposes and add some realism to it, I added a lot of wires and cables in there. So, but once everything is painted up, I think it's going to look quite apart. So I'm very happy with this. So there you have it, guys. I hope it was interesting to you. So now the only thing we have to do is paint the whole thing and then see how that goes. Now once it's painted and once we can assemble the fuselage, the work will speed up. It's not going to take us long, because then finally we can start gluing the bigger pieces, and then the whole diorama will eventually take shape, and hopefully that will not take us long than the time I spent on doing the inside, because as you well know, and if there are many aircraft builders out there, you always know that the cockpit is it's not like armor. In armor you can start building and then you can almost finish the whole model before you start painting. Here you always have to deal with the cockpit, and because of this project of this magnitude, I had to do a lot of tweaking. So all good now. I'm a little bit relieved that this chapter is behind me. Now I'm going to be stressed out when painting the thing, but anyway, I already did some research and some I tried a couple techniques, so I'm pretty confident that hopefully I will pull this off. So again guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Don't forget to like and share us on Facebook. And of course, most importantly, go to our website at www.jeffvscornerstore.com if you need anything as far as model related. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time for another chapter of the B17. And hopefully by that time, I will have some more interesting news to share as far as the painting. So, okay guys, thank you. And I'll see you guys next time. Jeff V here, signing off.